It is Tuesday, which means in America there are primaries. They've always been interesting, but today, what stark opposition between the giant of Florida, their diverse economy, and the interesting differences with Arizona. Our Greg Giroux joins us right now in Washington. Greg, let's start with Florida, much, much bigger, many more votes. Give us a focus there on that Senate primary.
Yes, well, the Senate primary today ought to ratify a much-anticipated November matchup between Democratic incumbent Bill Nelson, who is seeking a fourth term in Florida, and his Republican opponent almost certainly will be the outgoing two-term governor Rick Scott, who has already raised more than $30 million, including more than $20 million of his own money. That's going to be a top 10 race that will determine control of the United States Senate in November.
Is Scott going to run to the edge of Trump, or does he try to run more mainstream?
He may run as more of his own man. Florida is a very highly competitive state. Trump carried the state in the 2016 election by just 1.2 percentage points. So it's not exactly a state where I think he can run full Trump there. Scott has his own independent identity, 2 terms as governor, and I think he'll try and run his own race rather than hitch his wagon too closely to Trump.
The young Senator Flake exit in Arizona, and of course we will have some form of replacement for Senator John McCain as well. Greg Giroux, Arizona, is it a normal primary, or are there unique features with the death of John McCain?
Well, you have 2 seats at play there. You have the seat for John McCain, as you mentioned. The Republican governor of Arizona, Doug Ducey, will appoint a Republican replacement for McCain sometime next week after McCain's burial. That person would serve until a special election in 2020. And then you have the race for the state's other Senate seat at stake today. You have a normal Republican primary between Martha McSally, a congresswoman from the Tucson area, who's a likely winner in that primary. She's facing 2 opponents, Kelly Ward, who ran against John McCain in 2016 in the Republican primary there, and Joe Arpaio, the very controversial former Arizona sheriff who won a pardon by Trump. The likely Democratic winner is to be Kyrsten Sinema. She's a congresswoman from the Tempe area, and they're both well-funded, Sinema and Martha McSally. It should be a top 10 Senate race as well, like we'll see in Florida.
On a number of years basis, is Arizona, like Nevada, tilting towards a less Western Republican tone? Is it becoming a more Democratic state?
It's certainly becoming more competitive. Like Nevada, you've seen a lot of explosive population growth in Nevada and in Arizona. Arizona leans more Republican than Nevada. I would say Arizona voted for Trump by just a few points in 2016. Nevada has, I think, a larger Hispanic population. The unions are stronger, the culinary unions in Las Vegas, and I think that helps give Nevada a slight Democratic edge. It's a state that Trump lost narrowly. But Arizona is becoming more politically competitive as its population increases and as it becomes more racially and ethnically diverse.